I guess I was around about 14, 15 when we finally went walking into town. I wanted to try that word freedom on for size, see how it fit. Amos and Cookie had took some persuading to come along with me. I'd been on at them for days. They was for keeping their heads down, lying low on the Delaney place. So they wasn't saying much, but I was whistling through the gap in my teeth all the way there, telling myself things was gonna be fine and dandy from now on. We're free. Ain't we reached the promised land? A whole way of life being blown away. Didn't no one know what was coming around the corner now. To me, the air seemed full of hope. This was a new start, wasn't it? We could make the world the way we wanted it. I was busting to get going. What I didn't know was how deep down sore the white folks was about having the rug pulled out from under them. Guess they were scared too, and it seems scared white folks is mean white folks. Scared is dangerous. As we walked on into town, they was watching the three of us, men, women, children, rich gentlemen right the way down to poor trash, all staring as we go on by. After a while, that multitude of eyes weighed heavy on my skin. I stopped whistling and started worrying. Didn't none of them folks look ready to stroll on up, shake us by the hand, and offer a fair day's pay for an honest day's work? Wasn't nothing for us to do but keep right on walking. But it didn't feel like we was the Israelites entering the land of milk and honey no more. It felt like we was the Egyptians who followed Moses into the Red Sea. Like there was walls of water standing high on both sides, and we wasn't going to make it to land before them walls came tumbling down. Ain't none of us never looked for work before, didn't know where to begin, who to ask. We're walking, wondering, when a voice called, "Hey, brother." He's skinny as a rake and his clothes is hanging off him in ribbons, but he seems friendly enough. "Hey." Amos gave him a nod. "You looking for the bureau?" "The what?" "Freedmen's Bureau. Down there on the sidewalk, see? They help you." Amos gave him another nod and we set off towards it. But we don't never get that far. We was going along the sidewalk when we see this piece of trash coming towards us. She wearing a new silk dress, scarlet. It's so bright I damn near have to shade my eyes. Her face is painted like she a china doll sitting on a sideboard. The word horrid written in the air over her head in letters about a mile high. She's hanging on the arm of some man. He don't even glance our way. His head is cocked on one side, listening to something his lady friend is telling him. They powering along the sidewalk straight at us. Now we was free. Abraham Lincoln said so, and them fine gentlemen in Washington agreed. It's official. Amos and Cookie been repeating it over and over like a prayer, like they was finding it hard to believe they finally got what they'd been wishing for all these years. And I guess deep down in their hearts they didn't truly believe it. Soon as Amos and Cookie seen them white folks coming, they step off the sidewalk and into the mud, keep their eyes lowered like it the master and Miss Llewellyn coming at us, like they still someone's property. Amos and Cookie, I see the two of them, standing there together arm in arm, pressed close, shoulder to shoulder, a wedded couple, leaving me out of it. Always the third, the extra, the space, always in the way. That knife twists in my belly. It's like I'm a child again. Mad as hell, they're slipping in the mud, but I ain't moving. I ain't going nowhere. I figure if I'm free, ain't I got a right to be on that sidewalk? I'm staying put, and I sure ain't lowering my eyes to the floor. Now that sidewalk was wide enough for all of us. If them white folks had turned a little itty-bitty, they'd have got past sure enough. Didn't have to be no problem about nothing. But they walk on like I'm not there, like I'm made of glass, like I'm invisible to the naked eye. I stand still. I ain't going nowhere. As they draw level, that man look at me. His eyes meet mine. Next thing I know, that hall lady has banged her big old hoop skirt into me so hard it's risen right up and the whole town gets an eyeful of her pantalets. Well, a woman don't show nothing of what's beneath her skirt but an inch of slipper, leastways not in public, not even if she's a whore. What I seen of that woman's legs was downright indecent, made me gasp loud enough for them both to hear. After that, she's clutching her chest, reaching for her smelling salts like she's going to swoon clean away. The man is holding her arm, fanning her, but all the time he's looking just about ready to strangle me with his bare hands. Folks is gathering round us, and every single one of them pink and ivory faces looks mean as mean can be. I ain't simply being uppity. I done insult a white woman, and I'm just about scared witless at the thought of what might happen next. But nothing did happen. Not there. Not then. A Yankee officer come out of the bureau. He seen a crowd gathering and come to find out what the fuss was. Folks melted away like snow in sunshine. The three of us walks out of town real quick. We head back to the Delaney place, checking over our shoulders the whole way to see we ain't followed. No one had come after us. Well, not that we could see. Didn't mean we felt safe. Amos and Cookie was too scared even to be mad at me. We sat in the cabin, avoiding each other's eyes, not talking, twitching every time the wind rustled the leaves or a bird fly up sudden. Amos was whittling a piece of wood down to nothing until it got too dark to see. We didn't light no fire. I was out of my mind with fear, but I still fell asleep. Guess Cookie didn't. In the dead of night, she heard the sound of horses coming hard and fast up the drive. I hadn't gone looking for trouble, but she knew right away that trouble had come looking for us. Cookie grabbed my shoulders and pushed me down into the yam cellar. 1 second I'm sound asleep and snoring. The next I'm crammed in a hole in the dirt floor no bigger than a tar barrel and twice as dark. She's hushing me and telling me not to make no sound. She lays the boards over my back, so I hear what happens, even though I can't see none of it. Amos figured the Lord would protect him and Cookie. They ain't done nothing wrong after all. They stepped down into the street, and Amos always was a praying man. He starts singing a couple of verses of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and he figures they'll be safe. His voice rises up and Cookie joins it, twining around his like honeysuckle. They singing like a pair of angels, but down in that cellar I'm wishing they'd turn tail and run. Because it turned out them white folks was a whole lot scareder and meaner and more dangerous than any of us could have imagined. Didn't care who they lynched. White woman being insulted, hell, some niggas gotta pay. Wasn't long before they had Amos strung up to a tree. When that was done, they turned their attention on Cookie. While Amos is choking, he's listening to his wife's raping. While they raping Cookie, she's listening to her husband choking, and I'm listening to it all. And I can hear the men whooping and yelling and laughing. I know their eyes is popping with the thrill, and there ain't nothing I can do about none of it. They having it right there above me. There's animal sounds, grunts, squeals, the stink of men, mating, sweat, whiskey. But that ain't the worst part. The worst part is that I know one of them. I know that voice. I know that whoop, that whistle. I ain't got no idea what he been doing all these years. I ain't got no idea why he come back. But that him all right, that's Jonas. Ain't no mistaking his laugh, his squeal, high-pitched as a hog's, his smell. It in my nose, down my throat, it choking me, it filling my head, and I got my fists in my mouth to stop from sobbing, and I'm praying and praying for it to stop. The words of all Amos's songs are whirling round, and I'm begging Moses to come, begging for that band of angels and that sweet chariot to carry us all away. But I guess the good Lord ain't listening, or else he got a strange way of helping folks who ask him for it. Turned out it ain't enough just raping Cookie. When them gentlemen done finished, they string her up alongside of Amos. Then they torch the cabin. Given a choice between staying quiet and burning or getting out and getting raped and lynched, I chose to burn. Not that I had any kind of choice. Truth is, I was too much of a goddamn coward to move. I was so deep down terrified I passed out. When that first torch come flying into the cabin, when I heard Jonas cry, "Gotcha!" I fell somewhere so dark I might have been dead.